Hello everybody, welcome back to Random Encounter. We are carrying on once again with Pathfinder 2nd Edition, Abomination Vaults, and officially Abomination Vaults now. It's no longer Gauntlet, they don't know it's Gauntlet anymore. They've got a book that tells them it's Abomination Vaults, so they know it's the Abomination Vaults now. And they also... Yeah, the Abomination Vaults. So, yeah. There's lots of stuff going on, guys. The world itself, in terms of TTRPG, has had a hell of a lot of stuff going on in it. And we're not going to say a word. We've got our opinions. We've got our points of view. They're all personal and all the rest of it. And you can go to a million other channels which have discussed the recent events in detail. There are two reasons why we are not going to say anything. Number one, frankly, for the purpose of this channel, it doesn't make a difference. We will carry on doing this, and it's as simple as that. If you happen to have come to us because of this stuff that's going on, hi, welcome. That's as much as, you know, that's the impact for us. We might have some people coming and watching our channel. The second reason we're not going to do this is because this episode, the one we're doing right now, won't be released until effectively a week tomorrow. So there's an entire week before any of this kind of hits anything. And so anything we kind of discuss right now is realistically not going to matter. It's not going to make a big impact. Okay, so we don't know whether or not companies in question have either fixed all of their problems or shot themselves in the foot. Either could happen. So anything we say now is really kind of pointless. So we're not going to. We're not going to say anymore. But
anything I say anyway is pointless.
When I wasn't going to say anything. I certainly don't say anything because I know I talk drivel. Anyway, the couple of things that I am going to mention though. Firstly is a charity event that in February, which is kind of roughly when this will come out. It'll come out just before February kind of dawns on us. There is an event happening called Gaming for Gosh, or Gaming for Great Ormond Street Hospital. I am currently just about getting it in frame, wearing one of their t-shirts. I have signed up vaguely to do this and will be doing some sort of streaming malarkey at some point. I believe there's a percentage chance that System Shock Remake will be out some point in February, so that might be what I choose to do, and watch me scare myself witless because I don't do horror and it's a horror game. Anyway, yeah, you can potentially watch me doing some streaming on my channel. Anything I potentially do going forwards with Moz there, JJ, on his channel may well involve me also wearing this t-shirt and all that sort of stuff. So if that happens, because you know, it's not always possible, but if it happens, then you'll see me touting this t-shirt around. For those interested, that is me. My Twitch thing on there is Big Grumpy Gamer. It's the one that, you know, you've seen potentially kicking around before. But yeah, Big Grumpy Gamer. So if you happen to come across and follow that, you'll see me doing the Gaming for Gosh stuff over February. And yeah, what, you know, Great Ormond Street Hospital, it's a good charity, it's a good cause, and to be brutally honest with you, I don't see any reason why I wouldn't want to play games and raise money for Great Ormond Street Hospital. It all makes sense to me. But yeah, you'll see me wearing this t-shirt probably during these episodes as well, because I'm just going to periodically bring it out anyway. So, that's that. Now, the second thing I wanted to do, because we haven't done it for a while, is kind of talk about what's happened. Do a little bit of a recap for these guys, because it's been a while. And we're 3 floors down now. This group of adventurers, which originally was Mosrin, Neffy, Phelan, and a different individual called Anka. Yep. Were beseeched by an old friend, the Curioso sorcerer known as Rin, to figure out what on earth was going on at Gauntlight, because Rin could see that the Gauntlight Tower was glowing blue and nobody else could. But she was convinced, so she got a few people together that she knew from her past that were relatively new and adventurous young individuals at the first time that she met them, to go and investigate the Gauntlight. The upper floors of the Gauntlight ruins, as they were, or the actual top floor of the Gauntlight ruins, contained a number of small creatures that had been forced to the surface from their underground dwellings. They couldn't really explain what was going on, other than what they called mushroom people were effectively driving them out of their original home from underground. They very quickly covered up the fact that they were considering to actually invade Atari, but the group kind of caught them out on that one. These creatures, known, I believe they were Niflits. I think that's what they were called, if I recall correctly. Basically decided that, you know, they were going to at least ask these guys to go down and kind of at least rough up. You know, you've killed all of us. At least the least you could do for us is go down there and kill all of them for me, please. In the midst of this, the group also discovered the tower itself. The lighthouse itself was indeed glowing. A number of corpse-light type creatures, almost like will-o-wisp, but not quite as strong in the area, as well as a bird-like puppet, which had been holding onto a high shadow, had been just who had basically been looking after this sort of spyglass that another creature, a brownie, wanted to get their hands on. And generally kind of digging around that area, as they started to look at progressing down into the lower depths, they found a goblin that had been put inside a soul stone, which was the actual original soul that was used to power the bird puppet, but they actually found a second puppet that they could have put the soul into, but decided not to. And a rather horrible sort of maggot type creature that beat the living daylights out of everyone, so they ran away. In addition to that, in the long run, they then went back up to the surface and spotted that the Gauntlight was firing a rather large beam down at the town of Atari. This was when we swapped over and we had a new person join the group, as Inver was met at the graveyard, where the light beam was raising the dead creatures of the dead bodies of the people in the graveyard, and then seemed to teleport in a large insect-like creature right into the middle of them. Easily dispatching and dealing with that creature, Inver then joined the rest of the group to head further into the Gauntlight ruins. First floor of the Gauntlight ruins was swarming with Morlocks, as well as a number of other strange creatures. There's a river drake, what is known as an ettercap in other systems once upon a time, but now is a web lurker, I believe is the official term for them. And a number of traps, which Neffy decided to deal with by going headfirst into them, at least to start with.
Mm-hmm.
This floor didn't really reveal a massive amount of information, although some ghostly spirits which seemed to relate stories of Atari, the actual person, were here. Going further down into the third floor, they found a massive library filled with ghouls, and a strange cult of intelligent and smart ghouls. These cult of the Canker were led by a high priestess, who gave you a little bit of a fight, to be fair, let's say, because she kept on jumping out of the way and then casting spells at people and healing themselves, which was not to your liking, but you did manage to deal with that. And in the last couple of episodes, we've had a really long conversation about what to do with the books that you found down here, as well as handing a contract back to a demon so that he could leave and get out of the place. And I now pose one final question to you. Are you going to step in to the lightning chamber to get to the secret door on the western wall? That is basically where we are. A very brief and sort of sped up story of this, but yeah, that's roughly speaking where these guys are. I've just swapped over to the map so you can see that they are still in the chamber in the south now of this circular room where they dealt with the last couple of cultists, and they have a door to the west of this large chamber, but that's pretty much it for this floor. So, I mean, we could end up now pausing this and moving you all to a set of stairs going down, because you might go, you know what? No, we're not going in here. But
No, didn't we have a plan? We had a plan. We were going to use the elevator or the teleport. Or did we do that part?
We did
No,
that bit.
that part.
you did that part, yeah.
although-
Other room.
That was just to get to these southern rooms, which you've ended up
Hmm.
finding double back on themselves, still into that
Yeah.
circular chamber. So yeah, you've kind of got the whole. Do you risk it?
Who was it who spotted this again? Who was it who saw that door?
That would be a Neffy.
Effie, you got sharper eyes than me. I'll be like entirely honest on that one. Do you reckon, that thing's going to be locked? Half a chance you can see if it's like easy to go. Can you see how the door opens?
It's so. One thing, Neffy, I will say for this, and I've actually thought about this a couple of times. It's exceptionally rare for a secret door to be locked, and there's a simple reason for that. If you put a keyhole on it, it's not very secret anymore. You tend to have very clever mechanisms and things like that to lock a door, but generally speaking, somebody as observant as you, if you've seen the door, you've probably scanned the space for how to open that door as well. And in this case, you're pretty certain it's just a push door. It might have like a swing back mechanism to make sure it sits in properly, but this doesn't look like it has a lock on it in any shape or form. And I have to admit, my mind has swung to a specific film with the "Please be a secret door, please be a secret door, yay!" Which anybody recognises the reference of. There's a certain Mr. Robert Downey Jr. that has a very, very happy smile when he finds a secret door.
And these sorcerers have a lot to account for on occasions. If I remember that rightly.
But yes, you can't see from here that this one has a lock. It just looks like it's hidden rather than locked.
We just run at it? Like, I don't want to leave this unexplored door.
I was thinking, because I hate to be the person who goes first. It seems to be getting a habit. But also risking a lot of us for the sake of hanging around for long enough to figure out what's on the other side of this door seems a really bad idea. So the loose thought is like one of us does something stupid and runs across the room and tries to open the door and get out of the sparkly blue light. Oh.
If he hasn't let you finish the sentence, she's gone.
Okay. Hey, Neffy, you rush across the room. Have you got how much movement have you got?
Oh, good question. Let me find my thing. 35.
35. So you can absolutely 100% get to the door from where you are, I believe. I can't imagine you're going to have any problems with that. 5, 10, 15, 25, 30. So yep, you can get to the door.
Yeah.
You can open the door for one action.
Uh-huh. I'm dreading what I'm about to say.
What do you want to do for your third and final action?
Step into the room.
Okay, well done.
Stand there.
Yeah, well done. You feel the lightning effect of this room, the sort of spirits and everything else, almost like they're smashing into the ground next to you as you dash across the room, push the door open and step inside. But it never seems to connect. It never seems to manage to actually hit you. You take no damage.
You still alive, Neffs?
Teleportation room.
Shiny. Is it any good luck?
So,
Or is
I'm
it completely inact?
assuming it's intact.
well, the walls of this circular chamber are decorated with intricate interweaving runes and shapes carved into deeper into the stone. That's actually a mistake on the on Foundry. I'm surprised at them. And filled with dull silvery metal. The floor and ceiling are polished to a reflective sheen. So, based on your knowledge, this is intact, but with a little bit of detect magic, not active. However, you now have the ritual to reactivate these. And you are aware that while on the upper floor, the one that was up there was ripped apart and destroyed, there is one on the second floor that was intact. So, based on what you know in the ritual book, you could attempt the ritual in both rooms. So effectively attempt the ritual here, attempt the ritual in the second floor, and if you are successful, you would reactivate each of the portals. By reactivating them, you would then be able to go to either of these circles and will yourself to another active teleportation circle. So effectively, as soon as they are reawakened, you would be able to ping up and down between this floor and the second floor. And then obviously if you find another one, you could reactivate that one, it would be added to the network, and you could just keep pinging around using those portals. However, as with many of these sorts of things, doing a ritual involves a little bit of footwork on your part, a little bit of dice rolling, a little bit of making sure that you are successful. The target value for doing these sorts of things is based on the floor that you're on. So effectively, reactivating this one is slightly harder than reactivating the one on the floor up. Okay, so it gets harder as you go down. Giggity, as it were. And there's a couple of little bits and pieces. So rituals, we've never done rituals before, and to be fair, I've never really done rituals before because it's a new thing for Pathfinder 2nd edition. Effectively, a ritual is a spell that anyone can cast. You don't have to be a magic user to be part of a ritual. You have a lead person that leads the ritual. That makes sense. And they have a specific skill that they have to use. Okay, so there will be a listed one. There will be a number of additional people that can assist with the ritual. Effectively, if they are successful, it makes the DC for the lead lower. If they fail, it makes it harder. Okay? But additional people in a ritual is not optional. You have to have them. Okay, so somebody has to try these additional things because they're being part of the ritual and so on and so forth. So effectively what you've got here is a little bit of sort of juggling and organising your group to maximise the chance that you are going to succeed at this role. Okay, now for the purpose of this one, you are aware in addition that with a lot of things like this, if you fail,
From there.
we lost it. We did a bit of jumping around as JJ's camera went a bit crazy.
Sorry, the reason I keep on. I've had 2 dips now. This is the second one, but I've mostly been tracking.
Okay. It's all right. It's all right. So you can have with this ritual, and this is a bit interesting. So the primary caster has to use Arcana or Occultism, and it has to be trained. Up to 5 people, so with this one you can do it with just one person. Up to 5 people can assist, but they have to use the same skill that is used by the primary caster. Okay, so that is your choice for this one. Now what I will say is as follows. So it targets one portal. It takes an hour to cast. So this is a fairly long-winded thing. All rituals are like that. As a note, resurrection magic in Pathfinder doesn't exist outside of rituals, so they've made it so that it's a ritual to resurrect people if they die. So there's little bits and pieces in like that. Now the DC, I'm going to be nice because it helps explain stuff to people. The DC for a 3rd level spell, you are effectively casting it on the 3rd floor of this place. He says, just checking because I do want to make sure that I'm not causing you any problems here. Yep, 3rd level. This is the 3rd floor. Is 20. Okay, it's just a target number of 20 to reawaken this one. The one on the floor above will be a target number of 18. Alright, so my question, I guess, at this point in time is, are you going to try and awaken this? And this is under the assumption that, knowing that you can just run across into this room, Neffy's going to give everybody enough space, and everybody's going to dart over if you want to do this. Who wants to have a go? Do you want to have a go?
I've dropped.
Didn't we want to disable this one? Yeah, we've lost you again.
Yeah, it's alright. It did let us know.
Don't know what Discord is doing. I'm going to restart Discord.
Alright, let me just pause it then. Hang on. Okay, technical issues aside, let's hope. So, as I was saying, it is entirely up to you guys. You can attempt to try and reactivate this. Now, just as a note, I will say the following things for you. Successes and critical successes, obviously, these are really good. Yeah, and they will give you something for doing those. Generally speaking, a normal failure will affect somebody, but hopefully not too bad. Okay, so there's a little bit of a sting if you get it wrong, but it's not massively terrible. What you want to be avoiding is a critical fail. Okay, critical fails will do something that you do not want them to do, and you need to be acutely aware that that is a possibility. Okay, so as I was saying, you need to be looking at Arcana or Occultism, and the person that leads this needs to be trained in one of those. Okay, so as far as I am aware, Neffy can do it with Arcana and Occultism. Okay, so both are an option. Inva, you can help or do it with Occultism. You're not trained in the other. Phelan is unfortunately not of much use to anyone in this situation. And Moz, you could also use either Arcana or Occultism, having both. Okay, so if you want lots of people to help you, you need to be looking at using Occultism. Alright, if you just want to go out on a limb and do it yourself, then potentially one of you could do it with either. Right? Now, the numbers wise, I'm happy for you to throw around numbers for this, because obviously this is mechanical, and realistically, if you were role playing this, it would be a pain in the butt to explain. Oh yeah, I've got, because it's the standard problem we've had with LARP events before, isn't it? I've got 5 years of experience in leading a ritual. Yeah, that's the situation you're in. So you've certainly got the capacity to give it a go.
Didn't we have a thought that we didn't want to reactivate this one because we didn't want to leave the nice undead ghostly recharging circle available to any not so nice ghostly things that might be still around and able to use it?
Indeed.
Yep.
That rings
Oh.
a bell. I think we need to do the floor above.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not this one.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not going to mess around with the map. I'm not going to move people and show the whole thing. It would just be a nightmare. So I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to just drag stuff around. Instead, we will phase off onto the. Actually, no, we won't phase off onto the chat because you've got the lovely heartbeat noise that I've got going on as a bit of background sound for this. So, Neffy rushes back across the room, making sure that they don't get zapped. I'd imagine you don't spend the time to step out, close the door, and then go back. Or are you going to close the door, the secret door? No, didn't think so. So you dart across the room. You've got the elevator just round the corner, which is down here with you because you moved it down here. So up you go, and near where the River Drake was, round the corner from the large Minotaur undead creature, you find the teleportation chamber, again in relatively good condition. So the difficulty for this floor is only 18. Okay, it's only 18.
While you guys are doing goofy woo-woo stuff, I'm gonna do a little first aid on myself, and I'll get some flatbreads cooking or something. I'm sure there's enough wood to build a small cook fire around.
Yeah. I mean, just looking at the workshop that you destroyed earlier, that's here, and all the rest of it, you can get more than enough stuff for that. No problem. Yeah. So by all means, Phelan can heal themselves up. Effectively, there's going to be an hour of doing stuff. So I'm relatively certain that Phelan is actually able to completely patch themselves up to full in that time. Because I believe you've got continual recovery, so you can do it every 10 minutes rather than just once per hour. Have you got continual recovery? Oh, no, you don't. Okay.
No.
Okay. Then, yes, by all means, please just do a nice roll in the background and just bump yourself up the corresponding amount. Right. Yeah. As for the three of you guys, so what I will say is this. Neffy is Arcana and Occultism at +9. Moz is both of them at +8. And Inva is Occultism only at +7. So, question. Who is leading this?
No.
Inva will volunteer. Because if it's not Moz, it's not being Neffy, so... So
Neffy is your best at this, I would say, but depends if Neffy wants to step forward. Right. Up to you two.
Mind, I will do what Inva says is okay to do. So as not to disappoint party parent.
Please, miss, may I contribute?
absolutely, that's fine.
So is Inver taking the lead on this then?
Mhm.
Okay. Are Moz or Neffy helping?
Yes, can do.
Yeah. Moz will give a hand. He's not going to lead, but he'll give a hand.
Okay. So the people that roll first are the assisting people.
I'm assisting with Doug.
That would be the most likely, yes. So here's what you've got. You have the same target number as Inver will have, so your DC is 18 as well. Before you roll, if you get a critical success, Inver will get a +2 to the check. If you get a success, there is no bonus or penalty. If you get a failure, it's a -4 penalty. And if you get a critical failure, it's the same as a failure, plus the success value that Inver rolls is reduced by 1. So if Inver manages to roll a critical success, it would go down to a success.
But I'd know quite how badly they were going to screw it up for me by then.
Yeah, the problem is, it all culminates at the end of the hour, and you can't just stop it.
Fair point. Okay. Yeah.
So,
They might roll the dice first, but that doesn't actually have an in-game effect of...
yes. So, I will state this for the record. Effectively, in order to gain any bonus for Inver's roll, both Moz and Neffy have to roll a natural 20. No, because it's 18 here, so you don't. So, Moz would have to roll a natural 20 with your +8. Neffy, a 19 or a 20 would give a bonus.
You have to have contributes.
Effectively. Well, no, this is up
No.
to 5, so this one can be done by one person and one person alone.
To succeed and add points, I need a natural 20. To not harm it, I need to roll 10 or above.
Correct.
I don't really like the odds
No.
of that.
No.
Please don't.
That's not good enough odds for me to roll. I'd take 1 in 4 as a chance, 15 or up, on the dice, but I won't take 1 in 20.
No,
Solid.
thank you.
Is Inver just going to go at this alone?
Well, on that basis, it would probably be Neffy rather than me, because Neffy's slightly better at it.
Just gonna stand outside and supervise. Tap your foot, group mum. Group step mum.
Oh my god, yes.
So, I only need to succeed, right?
You only need to succeed. A critical success would give you more, but you
Yep.
only need to succeed to get something positive to happen.
So I've got a slightly worse than 1 in 2 chance, and Neffy's got slightly better than 1 in 2 chance. I'm going to have a look at it, have a think about it, and ask Neffy if she wants to do it.
I mean, I'm happy to.
Go for it.
Okay.
Okay. Oh god.
So it doesn't really matter if you're doing this with occultism or arcana, because you have the same bonus in both of them. So what you're trying to do here is roll a d20 and get at least a 9.
Okay. Okay. I'm suddenly very, very nervous.
Look, Shadow's just turned the Xbox on. Knows.
Of course he has.
He wants to play. That's okay. That's an 18.
On the dice,
Yes.
plus your
So,
9
plus 9.
is
Yeah.
not quite a critical success. You were 1 short.
Yeah.
However, that is enough to have activated this teleportation circle. On a success, You awaken the portal, but because the other side is not awakened, this side will only stay awakened for 1d6 days before it fades and goes dormant again.
Mm-hmm.
So roll a d6.
6.
Okay, so you feel that this portal will stay already for about 6 days. Okay.
Or you'll have to do it again.
Or you'll have to do it again. Okay. So this is why, to a certain extent, it is kind of worth trying it on the 3rd floor, even though you don't want to, is because as soon as they are connected, they will stay open.
Yeah, but we'd have to do that for like 5.5 days.
Yes.
Do we know how to turn it off again?
You can fundamentally just disconnect them. It's relatively simple.
So if we get into about the 5-day mark, we can go back and turn that one on if we haven't found the other one. If not, hopefully we'll find it and be able to just activate it. Okie doke.
So actually, there's a fun thing about these portals. So this awakened portal ritual is fundamentally built into the game to allow it to work for any portal system that you want to build. Okay, so you can do this for different game systems using the same rules, using these awakened ritual. This ritual. However, for Abomination Vaults, it is slightly different. Okay, because normally what happens is you awaken a portal at one point, you awaken a portal at the other end, they are permanently connected and you can jump between the two portals. For Abomination Vaults, they've added a slightly different rule, which basically allows all of the teleportation portals in this place, I'm not going to tell you how many because I'm not going to give that away, together, so you can have effectively a big chain of them. And this is the extra bit of information that you guys do know. By tracing specific patterns on the wall runes, someone could transport everyone in any one of these chambers to any other of the chambers in the place. It doesn't say at any point that the person tracing the runes has to be in the same place.
That sounds
Problematic.
That's one word for it, yeah.
Not ideal.
But one thing you currently do know, none of the portals are awake. None of the other ones in this area are awake. And the reason you know that is because this has not connected to anything. So by your understanding, there's only now one awakened portal in the entire place, and it's the one you're stood in.
Good to know.
Okay, so we've done a bit of shenanigans with portals.
Now we're thinking with portals.
And you have now really not got a lot of choice. At this point in time, you are pretty certain that other than the weird wormy type thing on the current floor that you're on, but over in the other side of it, other than Moz's friend, there is nothing really for you to deal with on the floor above, or rather this floor. You've definitely cleared out all of the surface level, and you've now cleared through the library level. You've checked around, you have a look about the place. There are no secret doors, no extra chambers, no real routes that you have not traversed. You have been everywhere. And so at this point, your real choice in the matter now is where you go down. Do you go down further?
Only with consent.
Now, I could see that as I said it. I could see that was going to happen.
Only question was who?
Yeah, it does.
Uh-huh.
I made the last innuendo, so...
So for the purpose of making life slightly easier for this lot, we are not going to do all of the decision making of this while recording, because there's a lot of me needing to ping stuff around and show people where there are routes down. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to pause it here for those of you watching, and suddenly there'll be a cut, like like happens a few times, as I show everybody where they've found routes going down. And then I'll unpause it when they make their decision and their choices and their discussions, and then we'll pause it again so I can move all the freaking tokens. But
See you in a month.
see you in a little bit. Yeah, you guys, decision making, this group, not always the best. So anyway, we'll be back in a couple of seconds for the discussion. Bye. Okay, so I've shown these people, these people, the three options that they have discovered for heading downwards into effectively the next floor of the Abomination Vaults. But to just sort of recap for you guys, if you can remember back this far, in the cave where the group fought a gibbering mouther, which tried its best to swallow Nephi, there was a route that went out, sort of followed water going down further into the depths. There is a set of stairs near the chamber where the ghouls were rebuilding the bookshelves for various sort of scrolls and things like that, what we lovingly referred to as the IKEA ghouls. And then further to that, there was another set of stairs that went down near the lurker in light that they fought. They found a set of stairs going down, decided that maybe right at that point in time heading further down was not what they wanted to do, and closed the door on the set of stairs, forever sort of reminding themselves that maybe progressing at a slow pace is better. So, having no idea what is at the end of each of these sets of stairs or routes down, what sort of discussion are you guys going to have about where to head and how to head further down?
Of the three options, was one more towards a corner?
So, it's a good question, to be fair. So how do I put it?
Or where the Mouther was?
So the Mouther one, yeah, it's difficult really, because the Mouther one comes almost back in towards the centre as it heads round. Okay.
The IKEA one is kind of on the edge of this level.
Yeah.
But we have absolutely no idea if that's going to be on the edge of the level below or slap bang in the middle. So that's kind of an academic question. I mean, it's a reasonable one because that gives us the minimum number of ways to go once we're down there. But I don't see a way of divining that from where we are, because it's not going to all be one wonderfully. Actually, it might be because game designers. But
my apologies for interrupting. It's not what I meant to do, but for the advantage of something that has just been said, you are aware that the centre chamber here, that circular one, on this map that you've been doing, it's to the south of the map. On the floor above, it was actually nearer the centre. So you're right, the floors are not in a perfect line. They move backwards and forwards as you go down.
Oh.
Does the Gauntlet blueprint book shed any light on which of these ways down goes where to the next level?
So no. As I said before, the Gauntlet blueprint book is more a like design and creation manual for the tower and what it does, which is, as you've discerned from this thing, the ability to effectively transport creatures that are in the Abomination Vaults to wherever the beam is sent. So it's almost like a teleportation system. But that's what the blueprint is about. It's about that center column.
It just kind of. In that case, then, is there which stairwell, which lowering point gives us the fastest route out? Because getting into this teleporter is difficult. Poses a health. What's the closest stairwell to a?
Okay, so if you're wanting like what's your best escape route, you probably don't want to do the gibbering mouth chamber, because that is a long and convoluted, windy route to get to a set of stairs that go up. Not impossible, but not the quickest. The quickest, therefore, is most likely for you either the Lurker in the Light one or the IKEA room one. The IKEA room one has the advantage of the fact that it is a very big, large chamber, which would then, of course, also give you a kind of base of operations, place to defend option, somewhere to camp when you're not sure if the floor below you is actually safe yet to camp in, should you need to camp and rest here for the night. So that's potential for serving a number of purposes.
That's loosely got my vote for those purposes.
Mm-hmm.
I'd been going to suggest the cave, gibbering mouther one, because we know we're likely to find a creature at the other end of that, potentially because of the habitat, but not that bothered.
I don't have a preference, which I know doesn't really help matters.
It's not really.
I asked my helpful question. It was unhelpful because no one designed this to be a proper tower.
I can't help you on that one. I really can't.
I think there's a sensible point where we just pick one. There's probably going to be no best route down.
In that case, let's use the IKEA one.
Okay. Right. Under which circumstances I need to do a little bit of quick pausing and adding people to a new floor. Yeah, as we progress down. Okay. So the nice thing is here, there should be some new music, because we're now on a new floor, so we now have something different.
Now I have to figure out how to turn it back on again.
A staircase leads downwards from this narrow landing. The southern wall facing the stairs flickers and glows with ribbons of eerie green luminescence. I'm not even going to get to the point where Inva has to ask the question, do you feel any sense of ghosts, spirits or haunts? Yes you do. Quite considerably so, in fact. During the descent down the stairs, you start to see this light flickering down below you. And as you get closer and closer, you start to see the flickering doing something that you have seen the flickering do before. So this is not unique to you, you have seen this happen. But it starts to coalesce and become little ribbons that fold themselves and curl themselves into the common script of language. And as it appears to sort of fix into those places, it spells across the wall, Gauntlight is a weapon, built to raise Absalom. It must be brought down. The ribbons then twist and flicker and begin to disappear under a door which leads to the west.
This is the green ribbons we chased halfway across the map before we got rudely interrupted by a Minotaur.
Correct.
Oh.
Damn Minotaur.
See, I've grown as a person. I've not just run off and opened the door to chase the beast.
This means that you will have continued opportunity to grow as a person. Boz will just look over Neffy's shoulder and go, so, doors. Known
So,
enemy
yes,
of
you-
people
do-
not moving forward.
Do you want to swap? Is what I'm saying here.
Well, you know, you have sharper ears than mine, you know. And, you know,
Alright, I'll
you're
listen,
a bit
but
back on
then
the
do you
thing
wanna
in case,
swap?
you know, this whole thing's finished.
She looks very deflated, like her shoulders sag, and she's like, just opens the door.
You can go first. We trust you. I think you're very brave.
It's less about trust, more about I have self-preservation and you are bigger and harder to hit.
But I can stab things over your head.
Oh, so you're using me as the shield?
I mean, yes. Dodge tank is a tank, right?
I don't know how I feel about this.
Well, you might be about to feel worse. This immense cavern is cold and damp. Water drips from condensation above into a large still lake. Thick patches of moist mushrooms, some nearly 4 foot tall, grow along the western shore of the lake, while a narrow trickle of water feeds it from a tunnel to the south. A 35-foot long pavilion made of stone stands in the middle of the lake, elevated 10 feet above the water level by more than a dozen stone columns. The entire pavilion is encrusted with damp, pale fungus. 2 stone bridges arch from the pavilion, one connecting it to a door set in the northern wall, and another to this door to the east. A faintly flickering campfire burns in the middle of the pavilion, its smoke curling to the ceiling. As you open up the door here,
I think.
What are you doing?
I'm as Neffy has grumpy teenager opened the door quickly. I am just eyes everywhere. So,
Okay.
but for pre-declaration purposes,
As you all do this, from within the pavilion itself, a grizzled, feral-looking man steps forwards into the doorway. By the side of it, or him, an equally large wolf appears. And the man begins to howl and bark at you like some sort of feral creature. The dog, the wolf, starting to bark and growl at you at the same time. And Phelan, you, out of everyone here, know exactly who this is. Joel Mesmin, known murderer and betrayer of the Druid Order, stands before you.
got very good eyesight that I can see him through.
I know. I mean, there's a little bit of
Around the
movement
corner,
around
yeah.
and around the corner and everything else, but you know, there's a little bit of shuffling around with Phelan kind of peeking around the corner.
Steady on, lad. I've got some biscuits here somewhere.
And while we are going to go into combat, we are not going to do it right now. We're going to leave it, and we're going to do this in the next episode. Bye-bye for now.